Hey guys, what's up? Dax here. Today we are here with a brand new video. Today we're going to be looking at some more F1 news, and it's pretty big F1 news. It's been happening in the last 24 hours. Basically, since I made that last video, lots of F1 news has gone down. So first off, we're going to talk to you about Toro Rosso because they've confirmed their driver lineup for next season. We knew that Carlos Sainz was staying. That was a given really after how good he's been this year. But Daniel Kvyat is the surprise and additional completion of that driver lineup, because I thought, since Daniel Kvyat's sort of gone to the Toro Rosso team, he hasn't particularly shown that much. And maybe Red Bull are being like, yeah, we did sort of treat you a bit harsh at the start of the season. Yes, we sort of just demoted you. We didn't give you a real chance because you didn't have the preseason testing. And that does mean a lot, because it means Carlos Sainz has probably got twice the experience in that car that Daniel Kvyat has. So it's a tough call. I mean, they definitely could have gone the Gasly route for next season, let's be honest. That was definitely a viable option. They had him. He's doing very good in GP2, but he could get beaten by Antonio Giovinazzi, and I don't know. I think maybe Giovinazzi is a better driver, so we'll see what happens with him. Whether he'll be on F1 or anything next season, I'm not too sure. I don't know how much funding he has behind him, but Gasly's obviously got this Red Bull backing, but they decided not to go forward with it for next season, which is kind of surprising. I thought that, honestly, my gut instinct was that Gasly was going to be at Toro Rosso next year, so for me it's quite surprising to see Kvyat stay there, but really happy for him because obviously he's my favourite driver on the grid currently, so I really wanted to see him in the sport, and yeah, it's great to see him there, and hopefully he does well. But what would you guys say? I mean, I put out a tweet yesterday. I'm kind of thinking this could be his last real chance in Formula 1. If he gets it wrong next year, if he just keeps getting really bad results, I don't think he's going to have much of an F1 future after that. I mean, who's really going to want to sign a driver that was rejected from a Red Bull, rejected from Toro Rosso? And, well, there's not many teams under Toro Rosso in terms of funding, so it's going to be tough for him to move somewhere else. I mean, if he's got a big backup behind him, maybe someone else can come in and help him, but I think it's going to be very tough for Kvyat. If he doesn't perform next season, it's going to be very tough, but if he does perform next season, surely he's going to get loads of interest from big teams, because he was at Red Bull, guys. He got a couple of podiums for Red Bull. He's a good driver. He just needs to get that confidence back, and I think he'll do very well. So I saw numerous reports last night about Valtteri Bottas. Apparently he is staying at Williams for next year. No confirmed anything yet, but lots of reports coming out last night just before I was going to go to bed. And I was like, well, okay, this sort of came out of nowhere. I mean, we knew that he's probably going to be staying at Williams. There isn't too much choice elsewhere for him, but just to confirm to you guys, it's likely over the next coming weeks, possibly, that Valtteri Bottas will confirm his future for the Williams F1 team for the foreseeable future. But who knows where he'll go after Williams. I mean, he's too good to be in Williams forever, in my opinion. He's one of those drivers, a bit like Hulkenberg, but he's sort of maybe done a bit more than Hulkenberg in a way, because obviously he's proved it. He's been right at the front of the grid. He's been on the podium quite a few times. So in a way, I suppose he's maybe slightly proved more than Hulkenberg, and deserves to be in a top team like a Ferrari. But apparently, I was watching the Notebook on Sky. Apparently, Ted Kravitz was saying that actually Renault contacted Bottas earlier on, or they've still got contact with Bottas, and maybe he could be going there. I didn't really ever think of that as a logical move for Bottas, but that honestly could happen. It'd be really interesting to see how that works out. But for me personally, I'd rather see him stay at Williams than hopefully get the Ferrari seat the next year, than maybe risk it at the Renault seat, and maybe not get anywhere with that Renault team. Especially with Hulkenberg as a teammate, it's gonna be very hard to go head to head with him, and unless you beat him every weekend, it's gonna be very tough to sort of prove you are the better driver. Hulkenberg is incredible, Bottas is incredible. We'll just see how it works out. But I think most of us agree that Bottas was probably more likely to stay at Williams, and that's what it looks like last night. Lots of people confirming that that's going to be confirmed soon. Also, Hamilton is on pole for the Grand Prix. I'm assuming most of you guys know, but I didn't actually watch qualifying, but I looked at the results, so I think it's going to be a really interesting Grand Prix here, guys. I'm actually going to get back for it, hopefully. I mean, after work, I'm going to go cycling, and hopefully be back for the Grand Prix. So, crazily, I'm going to do all that and actually still be able to watch the Grand Prix. So, I normally always miss the Grand Prix because I'm either at football or at work, so I've actually not watched many Grand Prix live this year, which is kind of gutting. Obviously, I'm a massive F1 fan. I want to see as many of the races as possible, but unfortunately, it's just not to be this year, and maybe we'll see a lot more next year. But this one we're going to be seeing live, and it could be a massive, massive race for the championship. If Rosberg retires, Hamilton's right back in it, because most likely he'll be on the podium and gain a lot of points. And if Hamilton retires, you could say it's pretty much all over. There's not much chance that he's going to be able to get back in there against Rosberg, but if it's a 1-2 for Mercedes, it's still wide open. I mean, as I said in the last video, Rosberg can finish second in every race now for the rest of the season. He's still world champion, but there's the pressure behind. There's a pressure from the team. The team hasn't been particularly good with reliability over the last couple of years, so definitely don't discount that. I mean, I think maybe just, psychologically, Rosberg's got the upper hand right now, but you know, if he gets one engine failure, that could plummet. And he's never been in the situation where he's leading by, you know, a lot going into the last couple of rounds. And it's not always normally him being the chaser, but I don't know, we'll see how Rosberg copes under the pressure. I'm sure he'll be alright. He won GP2 easily, so we'll see how it works. I know Formula 1's a completely different animal, but yeah, I think Rosberg, if he keeps his head and he just drives how he, you know, normally would, I think he'll be fine. But, you know, Hamilton is an incredible driver, probably still the fastest driver on the grid, so anything can happen with him. We know Hamilton, when he went to win his first championship in 2007, he threw it into the gravel. He had like a 17-point lead with 2 races to go, and he still lost it. And remember, back then it was 10 points for a race victory, so basically he had it sewn up with 2 races to go, then still lost it. So it's not over till it's over. We all know that in Formula 1, so we'll see how this all plays out. But Hamilton's in a good starting position for the American Grand Prix, starting from pole, from second place with Rosberg, so it's going to be exciting stuff. Lastly, we need to talk about it because FIA have sort of come out and sort of clarified moving on to the braking is now sort of done. If you move on to braking, you're going to be reported to the steward. So I don't know if this is sort of a shots fired at Verstappen really, because obviously he's been doing it a little bit this year, and I'm not going to say a lot, because obviously it's just, you know, just because he's done it a couple of times, people focus on it, and including myself, I'm guilty of it. You know, just because he's done it once or twice in the past, you definitely focus on it a lot more than someone that's done it once. So yeah, it probably is sort of a bit of a shot at Verstappen. I mean, when he did the interview with the F1 official Twitter account, apparently he was all right with it. He liked it. You know, he was happy that it was clarified, but it was a bit of an awkward interview. If you haven't seen it, just go to the twitter.com/F1 and you'll see it. It's not that far down the feed, but yeah, it's kind of a weird interview. I'm not exactly sure what he's trying to say there, but it's like he's not happy that they clarified it, and he doesn't think it's a shot at them, but he's happy with it. I don't really know, but yeah, it's good that it's now been completely clarified. Obviously, there's lots of arguments on Twitter, especially, and YouTube, about whether it was legal or not, but yeah, apparently it's not now, so we'll see if that affects anything in the race. So yeah, that's it for the episode of the F1U, guys. Thank you for watching, as always. I'll see you soon, and I might do a video later about the Grand Prix. I'm not too sure, maybe I will, depending on how good it is, I suppose, and if there's anything worthy to talk about. We'll see. So thanks for watching, have a great day. It's been Alex idea. Goodbye.